Hello students, welcome. This is Mr. Walk, and we are going to look at some rules for multiplication when we're multiplying positive and negative numbers together. Now I've got a little table right here and I'll explain what this means. But first let me just say this. When we write multiplication, you're probably familiar with maybe writing it like this: 3 times 2, and you use the x here as a multiplication symbol. Now, in our algebra class, we like to use the letter x as a variable, and we don't want to confuse the variable x with the multiplication symbol, so we're not really ever going to use the x, or x out the x. We're not going to use that to notate multiplication. The way we'll do it is you can put just a little dot, so this means 3 times 2. Sometimes you can also do like this. If I just put 3 and then a 2 in parentheses with no symbol in between them, that also means multiplication. Just wanted to make sure that we understand that, because when we look at this table here, we have a dot here, and all of those dots mean multiplication. So what is this telling us here? This plus is actually just representing a positive number. So any positive number multiplied by a positive number will always give us an answer that's also positive. Anytime we multiply a positive with a negative, the answer is going to be negative. Anytime we multiply negative times positive, the answer is negative. And then the last one here is a negative times a negative makes a positive. So two negatives being multiplied together will give you a positive answer. Okay, let's look at some examples. Here's some examples for us. So the first one, 5 times 3, these are both positive numbers. So my answer is also going to be a positive number. It comes from this rule right here. 5 times 3 is a 15. So the answer here, positive 15. On the next one, notice we have positive 2 and a negative 6. A positive times a negative gives us a negative. So my answer here, I already know it's going to be a negative number. Now I just have to multiply 2 times 6, and that gives me a 12. So the answer is a negative 12. Here we have negative times positive. That answer will also be negative number. And then let's see, what do we get? 4 times 1, that's a 4. The last one here, negative times a negative. So negative times a negative will give us a positive answer every time. So I know this is positive, although I'm not really going to write the plus sign. Positive number you could just leave as it is with no symbol in front. So it's going to be a positive number. 7 times 8 is a 56. Positive 56 is the answer. So next, let's look at division. When we're dividing positive and negative numbers, we have some similar rules here. First thing I want to point out is the notation. When you first learn division, you probably do something like this, 10, and then you use this symbol for division. Okay, so this symbol here is the division symbol. However, we prefer to use a fraction. In case you didn't know, a fraction means divide. So the way I would write this using a fraction is like this: 10 divided by 2. And this is the way that we're going to be writing this. We prefer to use a fraction than the division symbol. So just want to point that out to you here as we look at our table over here. So let's see. We've got positive. This is a fraction, so this means divided by another positive. A positive divided by a positive always equals a positive. Positive divided by a negative always equals a negative. A negative number divided by a positive number always gives us an answer that's a negative number. And then the last one here, a negative divided by a negative, gives us an answer that's positive. Okay, those are the 4 cases. Let's look at some examples. And here we've got some examples. The first one right here, positive number on the top, positive on the bottom. So we have positive divided by a positive. So our answer is going to be positive. Now, I'm not going to write the plus sign because when you have a positive number, you don't have to put that in front, but it will be positive. Now we just need to divide. 12 divided by 4 is a 3. So positive 3 is the answer. All right, next one here. We have a negative on top and a positive on the bottom. So this is a negative divided by a positive, which is this case right here. Negative divided by a positive is going to give us a negative answer. And now I just need to divide 4 by 12. Well, let's see. 12 does not go into 4. So my answer here is not going to be a whole number. It's going to stay a fraction. However, I can simplify this fraction. The numerator and the denominator are both divisible by 4. So if we divide out a 4 from both, we get a 1 on top and a 3 on the bottom. And there's our answer, negative 1/3. Next one here, we have positive on top, negative on the bottom. Well, let's see. A positive divided by a negative, that's this. The answer will be negative. So I know my answer here will be a negative. 15 divided by 3 is a 5. So my answer is negative 5. And then the last one here, we have negative divided by a negative. Negative divided by a negative gives us a positive. So the answer is going to be positive. Although again, I'm not going to write the plus sign. It's going to be a positive number. Let's see. 7 divided by 2. You know what? 7 is not divisible by 2. And we cannot even simplify this fraction. So that fraction is just going to stay as a 7 over 2. However, it's positive. So we've got positive 7 over 2. And that's the answer.